Tipping the drink back, I became acutely aware of the fact that it was void of anything but ice. Wearily, I set the glass back down and motioned for the bartender to prepare me another. I leaned away from the scarcely populated bar to button my jacket. No attempt to ward off the cold on this dreary December night was to any effect, but I thought to try regardless. I reached for my beverage once more, only to find it empty still. Impatiently, I searched for the bartender. Right above where he stood pouring another draft, I glimpsed the tavern's insignia on the wooden sign, the Raven. For an instant, I could have sworn I saw the eyes flicker on the sign. They couldn't have. I heard a glass click onto the counter in front of me. It startled me, to say the least. Last I remember, I was watching the blasted sign. "Didn't mean to bother ya," said the bartender, smirking at me. When I didn't appear amused, he proceeded to chuckle and wandered off. I glared after him, trying to play tricks on me as he. It felt as though hours had passed. Snow drifted eerily from the sky, settling itself outside the Raven. I could hardly remember whom I'd spoken to or how much I consumed, but I became piercingly aware of someone staring at me in the mirror behind the bar. She was beautiful. How I'd failed to notice her before I could not grasp. Moving almost too fast to the rest of my body, I changed the glass to my side to gaze upon this beauty in person. But there was no one there. Nothing there, aside from an empty bar stool. I looked back at the mirror and found it reflectionless. I looked again to my side and found myself staring out beyond the window of the tavern. There she stood in a white dress, surrounded by falling snowflakes. Lenore! My lost love! It cannot be! I was up from my bar stool and running for the door. I pushed through the doors and slid, falling face first into the snow. My face was numb to the snow. I leapt up, barely pulling myself together quickly enough, but Lenore was nowhere in sight. "Lenore!" I yelled. "Lenore?" I stood there in the snow, looking in either direction for some time. It could not be, but I saw her. I know I did. She was right there, standing, watching me. "Lenore," I whispered. I heard a creaking as the winds blew, pushing the frozen joints of the sign above my head into swinging. I looked up to see the Raven staring down at me, an icy glint in its eyes. "Cursed Raven!" I yelled. "Whither is my beloved Lenore?" The cold grew ever more present, sending chills deep into my bones. I looked away from the eyes and into the tavern. I reached for the door, and I was sitting at the bar once more. Lost. Now colder than before, I sought to rid myself of the chills and the continuous drinking that I had taken part in before. The bartender looked at me with an obviously amused smile. "Fancy another? A drunkard's reflection can surely spook a fellow," he asked as he poured dark liquor into the glass clasped into my outstretched hand. I gazed at the mirror behind the bar once more. Only me. I saw the weary, flat, and slate reflection of a man who's lost. I sighed. Looking down into the glass, it was empty save for a dwindling ice. Did I really drink that quickly? Motioning for yet another fill, I felt someone sit beside me. As I turned to yell I wanted to be alone, I dropped my glass to the counter. My voice caught in my throat. I shook in my seat as I stared at the blonde woman smiling towards me. I blinked again and again and again. She was still there, smiling at me. My beloved Lenore sat silently on the stool. No one else paid mind to her. I reached to touch her, but as my fingertips neared her cheek, I blinked one more time in disbelief. My eyes were closed too long. She was gone again. Lenore, I sobbed as I buried my face into my arms upon the bar. Why did she taunt me so? Was I not kind enough? Did I hurt her in some way? Where is the cause of this torture I must endure? Where did my love go? As I dried my tears upon my arm, I gazed up at the mirror once again. Me. There was only my reflection of that damned Raven sitting upon the wooden sign. If only you could talk, you'd say you saw her too. "Eh? Something bothering ya?" The bartender made his way over to my glass again for the next refill in a long line. "No one. It is nothing," I grumbled as I tipped half the glass back into my throat. The bartender merely shrugged and walked away as I stared at the wooden Raven once again. If only you could speak. "I can." Looking around hastily, I turned my head until it spun. No one was turned in my direction. I ripped my eyes and stared at the raven. "You can speak?" "That's what I said," it replied in an even voice. "So, did you see her? Am I mad?" "Indeed, I did. But you are mad." Shaking my head, I was bemused at the bird's words. I saw her, yet I am mad? Did I stutter? "How am I mad?" "You saw her." "I saw her, therefore I am mad?" "That's what I said." "How?" "You are lost." "Speak clearly, bird," my voice shaking in frustration. "Nevermore." "Answer me, you blasted beast!" I roared at the monster. "Nevermore." Angered by the wooden demon, I hurled my glass toward his wretched beak. To great shock, he plucked himself from the sign and fluttered to the door. No one paid mind to the stately raven perched upon the bell above the door, nor did they pay mind to the shattered window that now lay all over the floor. I rose from my seat and stormed towards the black beast. As the door opened, the raven fled to the street, and I not far behind. Once on the street, all the lights that lined the sidewalk were flashing. I watched and listened. "Where must you be coming from?" asked the voice. "The bar room," I said, as I looked back from where the sound was coming from. I followed the voice into the dark, blustery area and encountered a cobblestone bridge. This was a spot that I fell in love with Lenore. I looked around and all the memories I had with her started to flood my mind. With a few steps forward, the bridges which I proposed to Lenore jogged my memory to a happier time. Tears began to stream down my face. I missed her deeply inside and knew that one day we would both be reunited with each other. I turned around and headed back towards the bridge. I looked down into the stream and saw her reflection. "Lenore, is that you?" I cried. "Why, yes, it is," she replied. "I have missed you. Come with me." I stood there for a moment staring into the crystal water when it all sank in. "I see you," I cried. "Come with me," yelled Lenore. "I would come with you, but I don't know how," I replied, saddening. "Come to me." I knew I had to go to her. I just wanted to hold her in my arms once again. "Come to me. Come with me," cried Lenore. I stood there shaking, knowing that I wanted to be with her and convinced she would not truly be there. Climbing one foot slowly at a time, my body trembling, I stood on the lip of the bridge. "Come with me," she whispered. Leaning towards her voice, I nearly fell forward. I felt as though I could smell her, as though I could smell her loving embrace once more. "Lenore, my one and only love, as I stand here, I will profess thy commitment to you again." She slowly reached out to me. I felt myself slipping in and out of consciousness. Was this a dream? But she was there. My beautiful Lenore, her white wedding gown that she'd worn that day, flowing gracefully in the wind. I reached out to her and lost sight. The wind howled, and I was brought into awareness by an abrupt jerk at my neck. Frantically, I crawled at my neck in an attempt to be free of my awful noose. The tie that I had worn on the day of Lenore's burial, and every day since that day, caught precariously on the edge of the dilapidated stone bridge. I could feel its suffocating grip on my throat, and that cursed black raven crowing, mocking me from a nearby tree. "Cursed raven, you may have won over my body, but I am victorious in my death, for Lenore awaits me." Looking down into the stream, I gazed clearly into her soothing eyes. She watched me sadly. "Come with me," she beckoned. My heartbeat slowed, and I could feel the last labor gasps of air creeping reluctantly from my lungs and out of my choking throat. "I love thee with all my heart, my beloved Lenore. I will be with you soon," I whispered. "I will miss you." "Nevermore," spoke the ghost of Lenore. "Nevermore."